So it seems like New York is going full resist lib with this Zohran Mamdani guy beating Cuomo in the Democratic primary for mayor. Apparently, he's uber left wing. I don't know how fazed I am by this guy because New York is under God's judgment anyway. Nothing they do there is surprising to me anymore. It still is pretty funny to see the stir this guy has created, though. I do think it's a little too early to say whether he's indicative of a broader trend on the left. It remains to be seen if the pro-Palestine wing of the left will be able to gain a foothold or will be sidelined. But it's not like he's a senator or something. And if anything, he seems to be a bit of a PR nightmare because he's Muslim and really pro-Palestine. Like he said he'd arrest Netanyahu on ICC charges if he ever came to New York pro-Palestine. Honestly, some of the policies he's proposing are so radical, I'm kind of thinking, why not? You know, the left created this, the neoliberals and the corporate Democrats got in bed with these sorts of people because they wanted to portray Trump as a threat to democracy, and now the chickens are coming home to roost. The significance of the political spotlight that's currently on this guy is that it is really showcasing some serious tensions between progressives and corporate Democrats, or moderates, if you can call them that. I don't even really think 2016 exposed cracks like this. If anything, that only made them stronger, only made them more united. So anyway, it's worth trawling through X for some of his positions and statements and getting a sense of how other people are reacting to them. Oh, wait, now I know why a lot of people hate him. He said he wants to tax richer and whiter neighborhoods. According to the New York Post, it's buried in his campaign platform. This is pretty. I totally forgot about this. This is already a very threatening statement in the context of progressive racial politics. California is already planning like reparations payouts. That stalled, but it was something they recently tried to pass a couple of years ago, I think now. In no way people are going to be happy about this. Part of the left strategy for consolidating power was to create like a wealth redistribution machine driven by racial animus. And now it's happening in a very localized way. So it's kind of like the left is cannibalizing itself in a little bit. Instead of New York acting as a sort of blue anchor so this dynamic could be leveraged over the entire country, it's just sort of, the project just sort of just turned in on itself.
The name is Mamdani, M-A-M-D-A-N-I. You should learn how to say it.
Experience matters, and I think inexperience is dangerous in this case. Mr. Mamdani has had a staff of 5 people. You're now going to run a staff of 300,000.
He never says his last name right, by the way.
He's never dealt with the city council. He's never dealt with the Congress. He's never dealt with the state legislature. He's never negotiated with the union. He's never built anything.
Mr. Mamdani, to Mr. Cuomo, I have never had to resign in disgrace. I have never cut Medicaid. I have never stolen hundreds of millions of dollars from the MTA. I have never hounded the 13 women who credibly accused me of sexual harassment. I have never sued for their gynecological records, and I have never done those things because I am not you, Mr. Cuomo. And furthermore, the name is Mamdani, M-A-M-D-A-N-I. You should learn how to say it because we got to get it right.
Seems like he kind of shredded Cuomo there. That was pretty funny. Hard to come back from that. How do you guys feel about this? Personally, this feels like what I imagine watching a spider fight a scorpion would feel like. But it's also pretty funny because Zohran Mamdani is kind of caught between a rock and a hard place because some of the concessions he has made to seem more moderate and palatable, like saying that he thinks Israel has a right to exist, have actually alienated some of his very radical pro-Palestine base. And apparently it's been a little explosive.
I support Israel's right to exist as a state with equal rights. I believe that every state...
Why not as a Jewish state?
Because I'm not comfortable supporting any state that has a hierarchy of citizenship on the basis of religion or anything else.
Zohran was like, I know what you really mean by that. What Zionists really mean when they say, does Israel have a right to exist, is does Israel have a right to do apartheid? Because if you gave Palestinians the same rights that Jews currently have, the Israel that exists right now would no longer exist.
What do you say
have a question. What do you say about politicians that constantly reaffirm Israel's right to exist? Because people like me are constantly attacked by politicians for standing up for Palestine, and you are constantly defending the right for Israel to exist. My family is in Palestine right now, constantly under attack, and I'm hearing you say free Palestine, but also Israel has the right to exist. Don't be hypocritical. Don't be hypocritical and say free Palestine when you're also defending the right for Israel to exist. It does not have the right to exist. It does not have the right to exist. It's not your land to say it has the right to exist.
Woo! Again, he's trying to make a point, but it's just so awkward to be shouting at another man like that. You know, part of me was half expecting Zohran to run up on him and give him the old Shawinigan shake for just being such a nuisance, but obviously that wouldn't happen. And actually, as I'm just now learning, it seems that Mr. Mamdani has done his own fair share of shouting at people like a maniac.
How many more New Yorkers want time? Do you believe in the First Amendment? Do you believe in the First Amendment, Tom Homan? How many more New Yorkers want to charge that target?
Yeah, he was apparently protesting the ICE director, Tom Homan, deporting illegal aliens there. So that's the kind of guy Zohran is. Activist types like these are just another reminder that we have a huge communist problem here in the U.S.
Brown people from different backgrounds, the word socialism is weaponized as some kind of, anti-American thing. And, Senator Gillibrand and others seem to have fallen victim to that level of ignorance and miseducation.
Let me tell you something. This is a city not of socialism.
No.
I've been to socialist countries. This is a city where you could come as a dishwasher and you can own a chain of restaurants. This is a city where you can be a cab driver and then become a doctor. This is a city where you could go from homelessness to building housing. This is a city where you could be a young person who's dyslexic, a young person who was rejected, and eventually to be elected to be the mayor of the city of New York. This is the type of city we're in. This is not a city where you use idealism to state you're giving everything to everyone for free. There's no dignity in someone giving you everything for free. There's dignity in giving you a job so you can provide for your family and the opportunities that you deserve. So this is not a city of handouts. This is a city of hands up. We're going to lift up the city of New York.
We have won because New Yorkers have stood up for a city they can afford. A city where they can do more than just struggle. And it's where the mayor will use their power to reject Donald Trump's fascism, to stop mass ICE agents from deporting our neighbors, and to govern our city as a model for the Democratic Party.
In one way, the far left may become radioactive because this guy is just so irritating to so many people. If there's more where he came from, the rest of the country will eventually hate him too. I could delve even further into right-wing criticisms of this guy, but just a passing thought I had. In observing mentalities on the right, there's a strain of conservatism that's like a combination of quintessential conservative understandings of fairness and sort of stuff you'd see in like PragerU tier values of meritocracy and limited government, but then applied to the context of racial issues in particular. So it's like, I guess you could say meritocracy mixed with racial grievance, which sounds like a negative term, but I do think the left does indeed ignore the experiences of millions of white Americans throughout this country, and part of common conservative thought is being acutely aware of the left's double standards. So it makes sense a lot for a lot of these people to increasingly view themselves as an embattled minority as their economic prospects dry up and they fall outside the scope of benefits enjoyed by whites in suburban and metropolitan areas. This is also what I would say is the common denominator or foundation of European American ethnic consciousness. White people on the right are generally all in agreement that this phenomenon is happening. Something like 55% of white people agree that discrimination against whites is significant. It's really just a matter of what degree and why they think precisely it's occurring, which hasn't really taken a definite shape yet. This is essentially one of two narratives, and in the long run, it's probably going to win out and intensify. And it's just the intersection of traditional white American notions of fairness and perceptions of being unfairly targeted. And Mamdani's rhetoric is perfect for fanning the flames. He's just an incredibly polarizing figure all around.
You are a self-described democratic socialist. Do you think that billionaires have a right to exist?
I don't think that we should have billionaires because, frankly, it is so much money in a moment of such inequality. And ultimately, what we need more of is equality across our city and across our state and across our country. And I look forward to work with everyone, including billionaires, to make a city that is fairer for all of them.
I always find it kind of ridiculous when the left talks about stuff like this. They just go, we're finally going to abolish hierarchy. Yeah. And it's like, shut up, bro. Like, come on. Get out of here with that. Get out of here.
बात ये नहीं है कि मैं क्या बनूंगा, बात ये है कि मैं क्या करूंगा हमारे कम्युनिटीज के लिए और हर एक न्यूयॉर्कर के लिए। मैं हमारे शहर को अफोर्डेबल बनाऊंगा। न्यूयॉर्कर्स मुश्किल से अफोर्ड कर रहे हैं रोटी, कपड़ा और मकान। मैं ये सब बदलने के लिए लड़ रहा हूँ। रेंट फ्री बसेस, यूनिवर्सल चाइल्ड केयर और सस्ती ग्रोसरीज के जरिए। पर आपको एक सवाल पूछना चाहता हूँ, तुमने कभी किसी को वोट किया?
It's really weird to see an American politician promising people free things in Urdu. I'm just kind of taking that aspect of clown world in right now. Oh, another thing about this guy is I'm pretty sure he's a prison abolition guy. Prison abolition is kind of like a moral argument against the death penalty taken into overdrive. The thinking is sort of that the material conditions of the system create the offense, so a state administering punishment is hypocritical because it supposedly is responsible for the problem it's solving with incarceration. This eventually leads to advocating for total wealth redistribution and the dissolution of all mechanisms which could hold someone accountable. Because criminal justice would obviously be totally transformed under socialism. It's really stupid because crime is caused more so by relative poverty than absolute poverty. So it's not as though criminals have literally no agency. And of course, it also ignores there are large numbers of people with psychopathy, subclinical psychopathy, or other antisocial personality traits. People who commit crimes like this may be in the overwhelming minority of the general public, but there's still enough people who are seriously violent who will reoffend if released that you can't dismiss them as fringe cases. They can't be allowed to walk in the free world. I have a cousin who I'm pretty sure is a straight up psychopath. I remember my father told me about how when they were little boys back in the late 70s and early 80s, they chased this cat up a telephone pole and shot it with BB guns for, I think, several hours. This level of sadism was apparently normal towards stray animals in their neighborhood at the time. My father grew out of it, obviously, and I'm pretty sure my cousin has been in and out of jail for stabbing people. Like, the one memory I had of him was he was clearly trafficking in stolen goods. We were at his house. He was talking with my father. It was like 9 p.m. And then he stepped outside to haggle with someone. And then he came back in and he was like, hey, cuz, this guy got a computer for cheap. And my dad was like, no thanks. Like, it was normal. This wasn't even a drop-off either. Like, why were they negotiating prices then and there? I was really little, too. It was on a summer vacation. But anyways, some people are, like, just genuinely unregenerate.
President Narendra Modi, and this will go to you first, Come on, Lander of India.
I was supposed to get Netanyahu, and he was supposed to get Modi. Didn't you even get the memo?
You all get all of them. So
Modi is holding a rally in Madison Square Garden. He wants to hold a joint press conference with you afterwards, reaffirming the strong bond between India and New York. Do you agree to the event?
No.
All right, Mr. Springer?
No.
And Mr. Mamdani?
No, and I just want to say something here, which is that my father, his family comes from Gujarat in India, and his family is Muslim, I'm Muslim. And Narendra Modi helped to orchestrate what was a mass slaughter of Muslims in Gujarat to the extent that we don't even believe there are Gujarati Muslims anymore. And when I tell someone that I am, it's a shock to them that is even the case. And this is someone who we should view in the same manner that we do Benjamin Netanyahu. This is a war criminal.
And speaking,
I wouldn't go to the press conference.
For context, Narendra Modi enjoys near universal support from Hindus in India. So this is a very, very polarizing position. I don't know that Indians in the whole constitute very much of the American population generally, but then in a city like New York, this seems like quite the stance to take. So all in all, I think his political career is going to shape up to be pretty interesting. Whether he's successful or whether he crashes and burns. I'm going to stay tuned. I don't know about you guys. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it engaging and entertaining and all that. And Red Channels will catch you in the next one.